Hello, we're Andy the Maniacal Cinephile, here with our thoughts on Dr. Sleep. Stephen King's 1977 novel, The Shining, was loosely adapted in 1980 by Stanley Kubrick. In both versions, Jack, Wendy, and Danny Torrance look after the Overlook Hotel during the winter and are slowly targeted by ghosties. The hotel's spirits prey on Jack's alcoholism and turns him against his family. The Shining, the story of one man, just trying to get some damn work done.
Now, why did Wendy win?
Because she had the high ground.
For decades, King has bashed Kubrick's adaptation. It was too different, and there wasn't any sympathy for the alcoholic writer-turned-monster Stephen King. Jack Torrance. The 2013 novel, Dr. Sleep, has been adapted, written, directed, and edited by Mike Flanagan. Some other works by Flanagan I'd recommend would be Hush, another King adaptation, Gerald's Game, and Netflix's The Haunting of Hill House. Flanagan is one of today's top horror filmmakers, and a big Stephen King fan. So not surprisingly, Mike Flanagan's adaptation of Dr. Sleep is a shining example of how to tackle a sequel. Dr. Sleep picks up decades later with Danny, or Dan because he's an adult, also plagued by alcohol like his father Jack. Sadly, alcoholism is a way for Dan to connect and relate to his dead father.
Oh God, I now realize that's how I connect with our dead mother. How could you, Mother? Answer me!
Still haunted by the spirits of the Overlook Hotel, mainly the old bathtub hag from room 237, Dan has been drifting for years. Eventually, Dan settles in a New Hampshire town and attends AA. Flash forward, and Dan has been sober for 8 years and works at a nursing home where his remnant shining powers helps peacefully guide the patients to the afterlife, earning him the nickname Dr. Sleep.
And we're not talking about Jack Kevorkian.
Although he's not really a doctor, and they don't go to sleep. So it's more like janitor death. We know in The Shining that Danny and Halloran have this gift, and that there are others. The sequel further explores that. A roaming group of psychics, called the True Knot, is led by Rose the Hat.
Turns out it was a lady wearing a hat, and not a spooky lady-sized rose hat.
The cult finds, kills, and feeds off the steam that children with the Shining produce as they die, and they're always looking for their next fix.
Steven, again with the addiction theme? Why don't more of your characters get hit by a minivan?
Dan is psychic pen pals with a girl named Abra Stone, who is the brightest shiner in the world. When Abra is hunted by Rose and the True Knot, Dan is finally pulled back into the world of the supernatural to save Abra's soul and face his past. Hello there. The cast does a terrific job all around. Ewan McGregor as Dan Torrance was a wise choice, as he's likable, sympathetic, vulnerable, yet heroic and strong.
I don't know about magic. I was called
The Force. Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat is cruel and cunning. The scene with Jacob Tremblay was hard to watch, and it was refreshing to finally have a ragtag group of villains that you truly hate and want to see die.
Like the contestants on Dancing with the Stars.
Kyliegh Curran makes her film debut as Abra Stone, and does a fine job. Even though her shining power is godlike, she's no Mary Sue. Abra is likable, yet still has her weaknesses.
Like being black in America.
Meanwhile, the supporting cast is an impressive ensemble. Honorable mentions go to Dan's friend Billy and True Knot members Crow Daddy, Snakebite Andy, and Grandpa Flick.
It's Lurch! I loved him in the Addams Family. Oh, but he was spooky in Gerald's Game. Ew.
And with a name like Crow Daddy, I kinda pictured this.
Sorry, I just have to look over my notes real quick. Oh, sorry. Found them. They're on the bottom. Flanagan decided to keep Kubrick's film as canon. They beautifully recreated the Overlook Hotel, and there are references both big and small. Some changes were made to the finale, but Flanagan found a way to please fans of both the book and the film.
Which is nice for those of us who can't read.
The works of King, Kubrick, and Flanagan have resulted in one hell of a movie where every version of The Shining, shines.
Except the miniseries. Kid, you gotta close your damn mouth.
However, don't expect a sequel to The Shining to be another haunted house movie. While The Shining had one main location, this film takes place on the road, across many states. It's about these three paths eventually crossing. The cinematographer from Flanagan's The Haunting of Hill House brings those iconic Kubrick images back to life, but doesn't copy that style throughout. Kubrick's The Shining would let things play out in the wide, while Flanagan's Dr. Sleep gets deep inside the characters' minds. This sequel, set 40 years later, looks new, yet familiar.
Weird. The blood usually gets off on the second floor.
If I were to nitpick, it would maybe be that the styles and tones are a little inconsistent. When we arrive at the Overlook for the finale, it kinda looks and feels like a different movie, and plays out like The Shining's greatest hits.
Come and play with us forever and ever.
Mike Flanagan also edited Dr. Sleep, and gives the characters and story enough room to breathe while picking up the pace in parts. I wondered because today's audience could find The Shining too slow, but I think Flanagan found a good balance. Shaky cam and fast jump cuts isn't something you want in a sequel to The Shining.
Here's Johnny!
Dr. Sleep isn't your typical horror movie. It jumps genres from scene to scene and is more of a character-driven drama about addiction.
It's like an AA meeting, but you can fast forward.
It's not as scary or as perfect as Kubrick's movie, but Kubrick was a rare director. However, Dr. Sleep was a very satisfying experience. Even Stephen King, who hates Kubrick's movie, came away happy with the end result. Not only did Flanagan honor King's novel and Kubrick's movie, but Flanagan has crafted a new masterpiece with his own signature. This has been Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile.
Thanks for watching.
And see you next time.